Hello, welcome. Can I get a round of applause to start, please? Thank you very much. Okay, we have something different this week. So you might have noticed we swapped positions and we have something really interesting in the background, and that's why we swapped around. This is kind of strange because for the first time, I think, in anything I've seen, we're going to be doing live customer validation in the background while talking to the entrepreneur behind what is in the background. Lourdes, or anyone else watching the stream, if you could hit the like button every time someone looks in the window and figures out what the hell is behind us, that would be good. And through the course of this, we can get a bit of a feel for how the public actually react and how much interest there is in this. So I'll dive in. In 10 seconds, what is Makuno?
Makuno is sustainably produced, hyper-local 3D printed furniture.
Okay, so you can see it a little bit there, yeah? But lots of people are 3D printing things.
Yes.
What's different about how you're printing these?
So we're using recycled materials, usually recycled materials, but a lot of the time they're recyclable. And we're only producing a part when it's purchased. So no supply chain issues, no ships getting stuck in any canals anywhere, also no wastage. So we're only using enough material to make the parts that people want to buy. So there's zero wastage, and it's much more sustainable because it's a need-based solution, not a market-based solution.
Okay, so instead of kind of getting something made on the other side of the world and filling up shipping containers and shipping it over, and me using it once and moving house and saying that's rubbish and throwing it away, you can have something yay big, a meter
by meter by meter is what we have at the moment.
That has the things in it to recycle plastic and to print something new that can be potentially customized as well.
Yeah, customization, because we're only making something when someone orders it. So while we haven't worked that part of the experience out yet, but we could make parts completely customizable, and when you hit buy or print, we can make it for you in that moment. So we don't have to have a warehouse. We don't have to have anyone predicting how big that market is and all those kind of administration processes. We just go, here's the product, do you want it? Let's make it for you and give it to you as quickly as possible.
Okay, so if I want a chair, I get a chair.
Yeah, pretty much.
And with my kids' names on it or whatever I want on it?
Maybe eventually. I haven't worked that one out yet, but it's definitely possible. Like it's 3D printing means it's customizable, and we can make it suit the user. I'm just trying to work out what that process looks like for us internally at the moment.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. So we'll go back a little bit first. Who were you before Makuno?
So I have a very broad background, I guess. So I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. I studied at UTS. I think I graduated in 2011. Then I was a race engineer, because the reason I became an engineer was to be a race car engineer. But because that doesn't pay much, I also did a whole bunch of commercial jobs at the same time. So been an automation engineer, been a truck body designer for rural fire service and tankers. Then ended up coming back to UTS as a lecturer and a tutor. Ended up lecturing mechanical design. Then ended up going into the technical side of the university and running facilities and manufacturing and things for the engineering faculty. And that's where all this started. Okay,
so like having run, to me, the most impressive advanced manufacturing facility that I've seen in terms of the kind of scale of investment and the kind of diversity of technology that was in there. How do you go from that to this? What are your first memories of this as an idea?
So one of the problems that we had when I was running the proto space at UTS was that we had all these amazing machines, and they were all in this one facility, and people really didn't know how to use them. Like we didn't have any, because they were all so amazing, we really needed opportunities for people to understand what they could be used for. And I think one day the team and I were just kind of spitballing ideas, and we said, well, wouldn't it be great if we could make some functional furniture? And then I started playing with that idea at home and designing up some stuff. We put a print on the machine when there was some free time, and it kind of ballooned from there.
Okay. Because in this space in UTS Startup Central, we have a lot of different things that we put into the windows. I will say, having put this in, nothing has gotten the attention that this has gotten. And we've had some really good things in the background before, but the number of people that stop and just sit there staring at this, trying to understand what it is, and scanning QR codes and engaging with it. How does that make you feel after kind of putting this much time into it and now having something that people are looking at and showing that much interest in?
Great. So for me, this is a side thing. So I have a full-time job. I have a family. I have to feed them, unfortunately. So this is something that I'm doing in my free time. It's taking up, time is my most valuable resource at the moment. And I think at this point, we're probably 2 years from idea to this point. And it's awesome to finally get it out and getting people seeing it. We've had some social media stuff in the past, but we've never really had the opportunity to show it to people. And it's been awesome to see people engage with it and ask questions and try and work out how this fits into their lifestyle and things like that.
Okay. Well, firstly, thank you for making the time when you're short on time. And secondly, like I know in your role now and the previous one, you've done a lot around Australian manufacturing and the industry here.
Yep.
Do you have some comments on what the Australian manufacturing industry looks like?
It's a couple of things. I'd say the Australian manufacturing is diverse in terms of who it is that is making things, as well as being somewhat pigeonholed from 25, 30 years of a kind of constant development process. So we have quite large companies and we have lots of small companies, and they all make things. And what we've had happen over the past 25 years, in my opinion, is that we've focused on being really good at utilizing outside services to reduce costs. But by doing that, we've reduced our capabilities in terms of the big companies. And the small companies have been fairly stagnant in the fact that they've not really been able to develop because of the cost of development. So we are now in a position where advanced manufacturing offers us some opportunities, but because we're not doing the whole supply chain in terms of the manufacturing process start to finish, we're usually pulling out the material and sending it overseas, or pulling in a raw product and making it into something specific and bespoke. Because we just don't have that scale, it's really hard for us to leverage advanced manufacturing and make it change. So the reason why I started doing this and it seemed like a good opportunity was because bespoke, unique, customizable, and highly specific things is what we're really good at doing in Australia. A lot of the companies that are coming out and making things that are either a really, really high level or really, really interesting. And that's where our strength is at the moment, I think. And there's a lot that advanced manufacturing can do there, but it requires us to think a bit differently to maybe the rest of the world and how we use those tools to get to those results.
But it's also what I like about what you're doing. One of the things that you can drop a machine into Darwin or anywhere across Australia and suddenly be manufacturing something for a few $1,000s, and then with a bit of training against people, the skills needed are relatively low once you put the work into this kind of the IP behind it rather than the actual physical infrastructure.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the benefits of using 3D printers is that we can have, if we have a 3D printer and someone who's willing to run it, we have a store, we have a distribution center. We don't have to worry about anything apart from getting material to the machine, and that's really it. And a lot of the time there will be opportunities for us to reuse materials in that area. It's not something that I've gone into great detail in, but we know there's opportunities to do that if we get some growth. So it means it's really, really scalable. We can franchise. I'm not really sure what that means for us in the future because we're only just starting. But it's a different way of delivering products to people in that we can do it hyper-local, centralized, and we can actually take the factory to the people rather than the other way around. So that supply chain and everything is a lot less impactful to our hopeful business model.
Okay, well, tell me about that, because with the people outside that are checking out what's in the window, once you've proven it out here that people actually do want this and they're willing to pay a premium, what does the future look like in expanding that?
For me, it's about expanding our scope and finding a market. If we know people like the concept, they like the fact that it's more sustainable than the typical fast furniture, like your IKEAs and Freedoms, where they're making furniture from overseas and filling it with glue. We know that they're recyclable. If people really are interested in that, as well as the aesthetic and what it might do for their actual households, we'll know there's a market there, and then we'll have a whole bunch of different options, hopefully. Because we're just starting out, really what I'm looking for is for people to engage with it, be interested in it, see it as something that might suit their lifestyle, and then from there, I think the sky's the limit for us in terms of what we could do.
Okay. I love that fast furniture term, because like everyone goes on about fast fashion being a bad thing, and it is obviously, but like fast furniture, where like how recyclable is MDF and whatever IKEA stuff is made from?
It's kind of a crazy suggestion to even think that some of it's recyclable, I think, unless it's reusing the materials. Okay. They're really made, they're made for the minimum viable cost for what their business model is. And that's a very sound business model, but there's this rather large environmental impacts, and every step of the way. Not just in making the materials that aren't recyclable, but also in how we get those materials to customers. So what we're doing, we know is a much lower environmental impact through the whole supply chain, start to finish. And we hope to see that expand to reduce the impact on the environment, hopefully.
But there's so many models for this to expand, like the franchise potential, or just investing yourself and growing out once you've got customers, or distributing through other people, or whatever else. It feels like you've already done the hard work, and this is now kind of cash flow positive from here.
I hope so. So we know our model is cash flow positive now. So we've been fortunate by being part of UTS and part of UTS Startups. We know that with everything, because we're not going to make it until someone buys it. That's a big part of why this would work. And because of that, we know we're cash flow positive from day one. We're also utilizing the technology that UTS has as part of startups, means we don't have to put that money in to start with. This is really just kind of a tester for us, or a proof of concept, hopefully. And we've done all the modeling that suggests if we get growth, if we get people interested in buying it and taking a chance on us, we know that the market is sustainable moving forward. So, I mean, that's exciting for me, because it means we're not 100% relying on venture capital, we're not 100% relying on people investing the money through us with grants or anything like that. We're relying on the market and seeing if it's available, which is, I think it's somewhat unique in the startup space, perhaps.
Sorry, a startup that makes money? Get out.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Okay, on that note, we'll wrap up with one last question. Firstly, Lourdes, how have we been going in the background?
It's been super smooth.
Okay, good. But because I can't see behind me, but when I was watching, there was a lot of attention. What do you need from here? So the future world where every city has one of these machines in it, and it's just churning out really interesting recycled furniture. What can get you from here to there? And for anyone watching this at home, or anyone here, what can they do?
If you're interested in it, come have a look at it. Like, it's here. It's on Broadway and Harris Street. So if you're interested in what we're doing and what it looks like, come and have a look, come and feel it. A large part of it is actually how it feels, because it's 3D printed. It's got texture to it. So it's actually, I think it's tactile, which is why I like it. But if you're interested and you want to take a chance on us and try something different, try something that's a bit less impactful, buy some. See what it's like, see if you like it. If you don't like it, you can always give it back and we can recycle it. So there's always options there. And yeah, I mean, we hope that we can make a dent, find a spot in the market which can have positive impacts. It's really what we're doing, we're trying to do.
I'm sorry to get so excited about furniture. For anyone that's watching this going, what's wrong with this person? Like, imagine getting a different chair for your children each year. Like something that's customized to their size with their name on it, their age, something that like stacks inside itself and you can keep as an heirloom, or like there's a family dinner table that has like things for the family around it, or even just something for people with bad posture or something to customize to them.
Yeah.
it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, the options are limitless. So at the moment, it's just finding things that people like and hoping that they like them and giving us feedback as well. If there's something that 3D printing is an open form. So if there's something that we do that you like, but it's not quite what you're looking for, I'm looking for ways to design new pieces and find things that people will engage with. So far, this is what I've been able to do with sitting down of a night time and having idea sessions with people in our team. But if there's something that you're really passionate about that you think could be really interesting, I'd love to hear the ideas. Like we have that flexibility, which is awesome.
Beautiful. Okay, so makuno.co, we'll put it in the description below. And now we're going to turn off the camera and go to audience Q&A. So this is the juicy part of the night. For anyone watching at home, sorry you miss it, but join us every Friday at 3:30 for this private Q&A session, and we have free food and drink afterwards as well. Jon, thank you very much for joining me today. A round of applause, please, for Jon.
Thank you.